The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is The Loud List, where our random, rowdy, and raunchy band of misfits create top 10 lists of life's most insane shit. Be scared. Nothing is off limits. So congratulations.
You just made the list!
I'm the music god CJ Plain, and once again, back is the incredible top 10 list animal. You know what we do here? Top 10 lists that rock. Top 10 lists of anything your little brain can imagine. Movies, music, pop culture, video games, books. If your brain can conceive it, then I will make it a top 10 list. And with that said, we're back with another one. Once again, is the incredible gentleman who allows me to do this on his network. Always a pleasure to have him on here. He challenges me probably more than anyone that comes on here as far as coming up with good stuff. And so happy to work with him on many levels. I've been on his shows a few times, and he's going to tell you about his shows because he's got cool shows of his own, and you should be listening to them if you're not already. This is Mr. Mike Hilty, and he is the brains and the genius behind the SPD network. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on again.
Yes.
This one was a tricky one as well, so I'm looking forward to talking about it. But
yeah,
man,
how about you, man? Like the network. Tell me about your shows. Like, you know, you always talk about everyone else.
I forgot to mention all the shows that I do. So I've got a bunch of shows on my network that I do. So I thought long and hard. I was like, I could just roll this into one big show where I just talk about a bunch of random stuff. And then I realized, nah, that's, doing it like top 10 style, that makes sense because top 10, that's the thing. If I'm just like talking 1 week about sports and 1 week about a TV show, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So separated. Yeah, so I separated most of my shows out. I have a show with my buddy Nick where we talk about geek-related stuff. So we're getting ready to talk about Peacemaker Season 2 coming up soon. So looking forward to that.
I need to watch Peacemaker Season 1.
Well,
so
we just
kind of everything.
We watched a movie recently, and we did a watch-along with a couple friends. I'm sure a movie I'm thinking is near and dear to your heart. The original Toxic Avenger. We did a...
yes, it is. Lloyd is... Jeez. I have had the honor of actually interviewing Lloyd.
Nice.
And he is such a gentleman. He is so awesome. And I don't know if you've ever caught it in any of my stuff, but a lot of my stuff has Easter eggs to Lloyd Kaufman movies. If you pay attention to my colors or my wording or the different things that I do, there are a lot of trauma-related Easter eggs in my stuff. And when I pointed it out to Lloyd, he said, I'm going to go back and look at it. And he emailed me, and he was like, dude, he's like, I would have never caught that if you wouldn't have pointed that out. I was like, I don't make it obvious, but I love terrible movies. And not that Lloyd's are terrible. I mean, they are, but they're designed to be. Like
exactly.
They're supposed to be in that Ed Wood vein of schlocky, just completely over the top, random thing. And I can't wait to go to the theater and see the new Toxie movie. I love that they finally got it right. Because, for those that don't know, Toxie was supposed to be a midget right from the beginning. In the graphic novels, Toxie was not a 6'3" monster. He was actually a 5'5" monster. So for anyone saying it's bullshit that Peter Dinklage is playing it, Peter Dinklage is exactly who should have been playing it from the get-go.
Right.
I've said from the beginning that if you wanted to be proper from the get-go, Warwick Davis would have been the perfect person to play it. But neither here nor there. We're not going to get into. Continue with your.
So I got that one. I have a show called Family Movie Night where me and my daughter, we talk about the movies we watch for family movie night. It's pretty much been the two of us talking about K-pop Demon Hunter recently.
He wants to watch that. I haven't downloaded it yet.
That one's good. It's pretty good. We're gonna go see it in theaters coming up soon. So for the weekend that Netflix is deciding to put it out in theaters. Then I've got another one. It's called Mix CD, where CJ's been on it. Just create a 80-minute playlist of songs based on a specific theme. So that one's a lot of fun. Then I've got one on TV. CJ's been on that one as well because we talked about TV villains.
Yeah.
And then I got one on sports as well. So the TV one is called SPDM TV. The sports one is called Sports Ball. Aptly named. But yeah, those are all the podcasts I have on my network, and just appreciate all the work that everyone does with all the other ones too. It's mainly focusing on like movies and pop culture stuff, but if anybody is interested in any type of podcast and they want support, I'm here to help them with whatever they need. So email us.
If you're interested in the ones I've done, I did the movie soundtrack one, and I think what was the other one? Road songs, I think, is the other one. Either road songs or music that influenced me. One of the two.
I think it was the music that influenced you, and you had
really good list.
You had a section where you talked about songs for the road. On that.
Well, a lot of it is shit that influenced me and shit that come from being in the semi with my dad, like Blackfoot and Bob Seger and Boston and Jerry Reed. So yeah. Always fun to do that one, and definitely need to do some of the other ones too. I love doing different stuff. Like I always get to do music and I always get to do movies, but I don't get to like branch out. As a lot of people can't see, but I collect books, so I love books. I love pop culture type of stuff. You can't see. But, above me and up there, I have all kinds of pop culture, Funko Pops and posters and different things that are just, memories of your childhood and different things and silliness. And, I collect board games like the Oregon Trail one that I found that the last episode, and Monopoly games. I collect Monopoly games.
Oh, nice.
I have half a dozen or a dozen different Monopoly versions of Monopoly. Stratego is probably my favorite game, so I collect different versions of Stratego. So I love talking about just stuff other than music. Like, yes, I am the music god, but I'm also very well versed in food and
so many other things.
Yes, I am a Renaissance man. I am a man of many talents.
There we go. Beautiful.
Yes. So for this episode, we're going to talk about 10 movie sequels that surpassed the original. Now, of course, this is going to be subjective because some of these movies were not as popular, I don't think, on the fan level. But, I think a lot of them stack up. And there's at least two on this list that I absolutely adore and are among my favorite movies to rewatch. So with that said, do you have any honorable mentions? I do not have any honorable mentions.
I do have a bunch of honorable mentions, and I had to think of a specific set of criteria where I was kind of setting some things out. And one criteria that I do have on my list, no superhero movies. So I'm throwing them all in the honorable mentions category. So that's where Winter Soldier, X2, Spider-Man 2, those were where some of those come in. I'm one of those Matrix 2 apologists. Never would I say that it's better than the original, but I still wanted to give it a shout out. Same thing with Avatar, The Way of Water. I don't like either of those movies. I think it's all style, no substance. But I can't deny that Avatar, The Way of Water looks amazing. I think with time, Top Gun Maverick may surpass Top Gun. Not right now, though. So I'm not a Star Trek person, but I can't deny Wrath of Khan is really good. I am one of those weird people who likes Evil Dead 2 slightly better than Evil Dead. And then the only other one that I'll shout out is I'm one of those people who I like the second Hunger Games movie better than the first one. So those are my honorable mentions.
Well, you pretty much just swiped out about half of my list, so
Sorry.
that's okay. We'll still talk about them. All that being said, number 10. Sorry, I have a mitt in my mouth. So much for the radio rule of while you're speaking. Number 10. What do you got for your number 10?
So
What starts you off?
I thought long and hard about what would I have at my number 10. And for me, I really like the new Planet of the Apes movies. I think they're all really great and they all have something to say. And I think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, to me, is the best one. I really would have liked War of the Planet of the Apes if they would have just taken it a step further, but they didn't, and that's fine. It is what it is. I am kind of glad that they toned it down a little bit, but I cannot deny that I really loved Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And Andy Serkis is just a treasure when it comes to playing Caesar. He's so good in that. So that trilogy is really good. And now what they're doing with this next group with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, even that was pretty good too. But to me, the best one out of all of that was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Andy is really good at playing, like, I don't want to say monsters, but those type of characters, like the characters, the golems, the apes, the other things that are kind of beyond your quote unquote human type roles. So I have a lot of respect for Andy when it comes to what he's done with that, and I look forward to the Golem movie that they are currently making and seeing where they go with that, considering that both Gandalf and Frodo will be a part of it, and Viggo Mortensen said he would love to play Aragorn again, and Orlando Bloom said I would love to play Legolas again. So they're pretty much drumming up the band again to have fun with it. And of course, if you have those guys, you have to have Giggly because he was really the best part of the.
He really was. I agree with that.
Number 10 for me is pretty basic. I love this movie for two reasons. One, it has one of my favorite actor, singer / voice people in it. And two, has one of my favorite singers in it in very minor roles. Number 10 for me is Terminator 2. Terminator 2, one has Danny Cooksey in it, who you will know as Sam from Different Strokes, but he was also in a band called Bad for Good with a whole bunch of super talented people, including Brooks Vockerman, who is now the drummer for Avenged Sevenfold, produced by Steve Vai. And Danny went on to do, well, if you're a Nickelodeon fan of any form or shape, he's voiced probably half of the shit that you love on it. He has made a ton of money doing voice work for cartoons, and I respect the hell out of that because what a brilliant career transition to do voiceovers of all kinds of shit. And he did Salute You Shorts, which you had to love. And then it also had, in one scene, one of my favorite singers is Ron Young from a band called Little Caesar. And he was the biker that got thrown through the bar window, Schwarzenegger, the one with all the red hair and all the tattoos. And that is Ron Young. And he is one of the best hair metal. I don't want to call him hair metal, but in those type of bands, Little Caesar is a great sort of, they're kind of a cross between AC/DC and LA Guns style. Very, very melodic. Like Ron sings like he grew up in Motown. And they do this hard rock version of I Wish It Would Rain by the Temptations. And it's so damn good. Like, it shouldn't work at any level, but it really does because Ron has this like white boy soul ability to sing those type of songs. So probably one of my favorite cover songs. If I was doing a list of cover songs, that would be very high on my list of cover songs that I love. So Terminator 2 is number 10 for me.
We'll be talking a little bit more about that later on.
I'm sure. Number 9.
So this is where it's going to start to kind of veer a little bit off course because my next four are ones that are a little unexpected because I feel like you and I talked about this a little bit about how, man, this list feels pretty basic. Like
Right.
there's a lot that just come to mind really well. So I tried to think a little bit outside the box, and these
Yeah.
next four are the best that I could come up with. But this one, I know I'm going to catch a little flack for this because I know that a lot of people out there do not like this one as much as the first one because the first one is much more action oriented, and this one is a little bit more. It still has a lot of action, but there's actually a little bit more character in this. And also, there's a lot of people out there who don't like the ending of this, and I can't blame them for it, but I like Kill Bill Volume 2 slightly better than Kill Bill Volume 1. I get it. I get it that fight with the Crazy 88 is awesome in Kill Bill Volume 1. It sets up a lot of amazing stuff, but I like seeing
I have not seen part two. I've only seen part one. So um,
this could fall potentially under also that this one might not even count because if you take the whole thing, the Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, which is both of them combined, that's one pretty outstanding movie that's like 4.5 hours long. But I love Kill Bill Volume 2. So yeah, that's one I definitely recommend checking it out and at least seeing the end. But the first one's great. I really love it. But the second one to me just does a little bit more with the character than I was anticipating.
cool. Number 9 for me. You mentioned it from the get-go. I have Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I've never seen a Star Wars movie. Nothing about Star Wars really ever made me want to see them. Now I do love the Spaceballs movies, so that's as close as
Naturally.
I've gotten
Yeah.
them. But I did watch Star Trek a lot, especially Deep Space Nine. I was a major fan of Deep Space Nine because it had him. It had I don't even think of his name now. He was on Spencer for Hire first, and then they made him, Captain Benjamin Sisko, and I was like, okay, he was one of them black men. Had that presence. He was so commanding that you kind of had to like him really and respect him. But even before Deep Space Nine, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, it had, I grew up with Fantasy Island, and I caught so many dumb ass jokes with boss, the plane, to the point where I literally would just punch people over it. Like I just fuck it. If I'm gonna get kicked out, this is why I'm getting kicked out. But Montalban, I can't think of his first name.
Ricardo
Montalban played such a nasty villain in it. And, there were so many great lines in it that it really stood above all the other Star Trek stuff in its own sort of little space. And to me, of all the Star Trek stuff I've seen, it's really the only one that's memorable per se, other than the Deep Space Nine stuff. Because Deep Space Nine, had memorable characters like Quark. And then, of course, they brought Worf over from Next Generation and different things. So they made it, memorable. But Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan is my number 9.
That movie I will never forget. I watched it at a sleepover when I was really young, and I had a nightmare because of the ear thing that they did. To this day, it's still a reason why I don't like anybody like doing much with my ear. Like it's like nope, don't like it. Nope. So yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah, I hear that. Number 8. What do you got at number 8?
I have Toy Story 2 at number 8.
Okay.
And the reason why I have Toy Story 2 is because it's got a memorable villain. And man, the first Toy Story has what I like to call the Pixar punch in it, where they've always got like a gut check moment where it's like, oh, this is going to pull up my heartstrings with this because this is Pixar's third movie. They're still trying to feel their way around stuff. And the first one, your big gut punch moment is when Buzz realizes he's not a space ranger, he's a toy. So, not that memorable, whatever. And then A Bug's Life comes out. They don't really have a gut punch moment in that. And then Toy Story 2 comes out and it gives you this Sarah McLachlan song about a toy being abandoned. And I'm sorry, if you don't cry at that, or if you don't at least feel something about that, you may be a robot. So, Toy Story 2 for me, as iconic as the first Toy Story is, I think that the second one just upped the ante a little bit. So, Toy Story 2. I think the other two are perfectly fine, but I think this one, from an animation standpoint and just what it does with the characters, puts it slightly above the first one.
Nice. I like the Toy Story movies just because they're, I don't want to say they're more adult oriented, but they kind of have that aspect of adults can watch them without feeling silly. And a lot of the Pixar movies are kind of that way, but Toy Story more than the other ones. I agree. Toy Stories and Cars both they're fun movies.
Yeah.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel, for lack of a better pun. You don't have to, your brain doesn't really have to think deeply about what's going on, unlike like Home or other ones where they try to put a message in there. You just kind of enjoy the story for what it is.
Yeah.
So that's a good pick. Number 8 for me, it's actually the third movie in the trilogy, but it's one of my favorites. I love this man, and I watch his movies repeatedly. I'm a massive fan of Clint Eastwood. So many of his movies would be in my top 10 list. Probably half, if I made a top 10 of my favorite movies, probably half the movies would be Clint Eastwood movies. But for this list, I have The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. More so than the second one, because by the time they made The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Sierra Leone had pretty much run out of money. And he couldn't film long dialogues because he didn't have the money to. So he filled it with these long sweeping shots and this incredible song. And a lot of filmmakers had never done that before. And it led to other incredible movies down the line, like The Revenant and other movies that also played on that concept of less talk and more, the Lord of the Ring movies. There were a few spots that had used that concept of, the long sweeping shots with the music. The Spartacus movies did it, so he kind of invented a thing in filmmaking. Yeah. And not a lot of people can say that. They invented something original or new. So, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is my pick for number 8.
This is a movie that I don't think a lot of people realize it's part of a trilogy. And yeah. I think that's one of the beautiful things about it. It's a great movie. Westerns are not really my jam, but
right.
This one is still definitely high up there, and it's necessary viewing for anybody who just loves film.
Yeah. Or wants to be a filmmaker. That's the thing. I don't know if I'd call it necessary for somebody who's a movie fan as much as if you have an interest in filming videos or doing films or doing any kind of camera content. There's a lot to learn in this movie about, cinematography, about location, about using music in the proper places and timing. There's a lot to learn as somebody who operates a camera. So that in and of itself will set it apart. Number 7.
My number 7, as a parent, I feel like it's my responsibility to talk up Paddington 2 to people because Paddington 2 it's not just one of the best sequels out there, it's also just a great movie as well. So I don't have a whole lot to say about Paddington 2, but I was a little surprised that it ended up this high, but here we are. And if you're a parent, this is definitely one where these are all feel good movies, even the cheap third one, but I did love Paddington 2 a lot, and both my kids liked it a lot too. So that one, I'm in reality I should have put this lower, but also it is I can admit that it is a better movie to me at least than the other three that preceded it. So yeah, Paddington 2.
I have shame to say I've not seen either of the Paddington movies.
Eh.
I've seen short clips here and there, but I've not seen the entire movie in their entireties. I have seen the Stuart Little movies, but not the Paddington ones.
Yeah.
So that is something I will get around to eventually.
There's a lot of stuff to watch out there, unfortunately. So if you don't get around to it right away, it's not the end of the world. It's all
I know. Number 7 for me, I think it's a movie that everyone in the world has seen. It's sort of one of the three big, one of the big three Christmas movies, I would say. Number 7 is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I thought long and hard about putting this one on because like being from the Chicago suburbs, this feels like you have to put it on during Christmas.
Yeah, so I'm not a massive fan of Christmas movies, but this is one of the few Christmas movies that I don't mind watching. Like I like Christmas horror movies more than I like actual Christmas movies.
I feel like that tracks.
I am much more likely to watch Rare Imports or Santa's Sleigh or something along that line, Silent Night, Deadly Night, than I am to watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation or Jingle Bells or something like that.
Right.
Now, the boy, he loves Home Alone. And I don't mind Home Alone. Home Alone, the first two were, really great. Then it went completely off the fucking rails. I think it was the third one or the fourth one with the parrot. The parrot kind of saved it, because the parrot always had something smart to say. It's like, Polly want a cracker? It's like, Houston, we have liftoff. So, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Shitter's full! And I saw a video recently where Chevy was doing a Comic-Con or something, or a meet and greet. And he was signing stuff. And Randy kind of wandered to the curtain wearing the hat and the robe and all of that. And Chevy was just like, oh, God. Randy was in character. And I love Randy Quaid. He's kooky and he's gone completely off the rails, but somewhere in that mess of a brain, Randy is still that sort of kooky guy that we love for roles like this and for Independence Day and a few other ones that he's done that were just that kind of Nick Nolte before Nolte went off the rails type of character, or who's the other one who Gary Busey, he did Gary Busey before Busey did Busey. So number 6.
I feel like my number 6 I'm gonna get a lot of shit for. And that's okay. I get it, but you're the one that said at the beginning of this that this list is completely subjective. So I took liberties with this and I added this in because I like the first one just fine. But this one amps up the comedy a lot more. And to me, this movie has everything from a random dance sequence to a debate amongst popular film franchises to pussy trolls to donkey shows to ass to mouth. I got to admit, and I'm not afraid to say it, I like Clerks 2 better than Clerks. I really do. I watch it a lot more. I know that this is a really hot take, and I hope that we can still be friends after this, but I love Clerks 2. Is it one of my favorite Kevin Smith movies? No. But is it one that I watch a lot because it makes me laugh a lot? Absolutely. So I am a Clerks 2 apologist without a doubt. So yeah.
I will discuss my opinion of it later when it
Oh.
is on my list.
Wow. Okay. I was not expecting that, but
I'm a huge fan of Clerks 2, and it plays a very high spot on my list. So, number 6 for me probably is one I will catch shit for because it will be on no one else's list. But I think it completely outdid the first one. It introduced the world to one of my favorite action stars and led to other movies that he has done over and over. I have Undisputed 2. Now, of course, the first one, you're going to get Ving Rhames versus Wesley Snipes. But in the second one, you get Michael Jai White versus Scott Adkins. You get Boyka. And in the realm of action villains, they just don't come much nastier than fucking Boyka. Scott Adkins is a badass, okay? I would be terrified to have to ever fight this man in any capacity at all. So I really liked Undisputed 2. I liked the ending. I love how they continued it with 2 other movies, and there was talk of a 5th one as well. So I'm excited to see if Boyka will finally get his redemption. So yes, and I'm a massive Scott Adkins fan. Whether it's the John Wick 4 world that he played as the fat dude, whether it's the Ip Man 4, whether it's the multiple movies he's done with Glass. There's a new Skyline movie coming out, and he plays one of the characters in Skyline versus opposite Eco again. So I'm excited. I like the Skyline movies, so I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the 4th one, where they're going to continue it. Apparently, there's supposed to be 5 total. So, I guess the new director that took over with the 3rd one, just wants to ramp the action up, which I'm all for. Like, nothing better than me than body parts flying and blood. Oh, shit.
I love when that happens. What happened?
And I just remembered a movie that, you know what? We're going to make an executive decision.
There we go.
So at one point, I had Top Gun Maverick on my list. It has now been replaced. So we're going to mention, I did at least consider Top Gun Maverick, but kind of like what you said, I thought it was better than the first. But, time will tell.
Time will tell.
Or was it just purely that it could stand on its own? It has been replaced. So that was my number 6. You got your number 6. Number 5.
My number 5 is Terminator 2. And there will be a theme of James Cameron coming in and doctoring up stuff with a couple of my picks coming up soon. But Terminator 2, I think what they did with turning Arnold into the good guy and turning him into an obsolete model. Linda Hamilton is great in this. Edward Furlong, just, man, what happened to him? That's, he's a great actor, but just this John, as a role, John Cotter just feels like a cursed role now. But Edward Furlong is great in this. And then this is my first introduction to Robert Patrick, who's just an outstanding T-1000, and just the special effects still hold up to this day, and the music just still holds up. The da 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 da. Just, I love Terminator 2. I like the 3rd one just fine. I don't think it's as good as the other 2, but it's light years ahead of some of the dog shit that's come out post, Terminator 3. So, yeah, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, just great flick.
Yeah, it is, and I agree totally. For all the reasons you said and all the reasons I said earlier. So, number 5 on my list is Lethal Weapon 2. I love all of the Lethal Weapon movies, but, Lethal Weapon is one of those series where they've literally gotten better with every single one. Like, each one is better and better. So, so I like where they went with Lethal Weapon 2 and then into 3 and then into 4 with the characters, how they developed. The Bad Boy movies have done their best to try to do the same thing, to varying degrees of success. I love when they decided to do the TV series. I was skeptical at best.
I feel like that should have been the only way that you could have perceived a Lethal Weapon TV show, is with skepticism.
I was skeptical at best, and then I started watching it, and I have seen him in other stuff.
It's pretty good, yeah.
But I will tell you, Chase Crawford deserved a goddamn award for the way he played Riggs. He was fucking unhinged in a way that even Mel Gibson couldn't have seen coming.
Right.
I thought, okay, if you're gonna fucking play a modern day Riggs, you've got to be just completely off the fucking reservation. So for lack of a better term, no offense to anybody, but you've got to be completely off the fucking reservation, unhinged, just completely off the fucking rails. And Chase Crawford played the shit out of that role. I am still so angry at Damon Wayans for being a prima donna bitch and ruining that series over fucking catering.
Yeah.
You know, over catering, and got Chase fired. And then they brought in Stifler. And I love Sean William Scott. He's more than a capable actor. But I'm sorry, when you're following what Chase did, there's just no way.
Doesn't compare.
You know, like he was to the point where I would love to see him, if, you know, they keep talking about doing, you know, another Lethal Weapon. I would love to see him in it, either as a bad guy or as a cop of something. I think he would play, you know, just as whether it's Riggs's kid or something, or a neighbor, you know, whatever. I just think he would do an amazing fucking job, and to just kind of tie it all together. So Lethal Weapon 2 is my long-winded number 5. You know, because hey, who needs to do straight lines, right? We'll get there eventually. Number 4 for you.
I'm sad to admit that like my next 4 are like the basic bitch answers of this question, but my number 4, aforementioned James Cameron punch up, and that's Aliens. And just whereas the first one, the Ridley Scott Alien, is more of like a horror movie, this one is just straight up action. And it's got some scary elements, but it's also got some iconic stuff in this. Get away from her, you bitch, is still a line that just resonates today. Game over, man, game over. Even though it was an improv line, it's great. Yeah, Aliens is just, I'm never going to say that it improves on everything from Alien, or like the first one, because the first one has just some amazing scare moments. Plus that tagline, nobody can hear you scream in space, or in space, nobody can hear you scream. But yeah, can't deny that the second one is just balls to the wall. So much fun.
Yeah. I have never seen an Aliens movie. That's right up there with Star Wars. I am not a massive sci-fi guy. I like funny sci-fi. Batteries not included, Gremlins type of stuff. I don't mind it. I have saw some of the bigger ones, 2001, Space Odyssey. My God, that movie, I thought that movie was going to never fucking end. I still remember spending a whole week watching that movie. You know, other assorted shit, Blade Runner, whatnot. But I'm not a huge fan of space type movies. So there's not a lot of them. You know, I have seen parts of the Predator series. I think I've seen the first Predator, and then I've seen the last, what was it? It wasn't Badlands. It was Prey. I saw Prey.
Prey was good. And
I saw the one that Adrian Brody did with Chase Crawford.
That one's interesting.
You know, that was a different take on it. But yeah, so I've seen, you know, various pieces of it that are kind of plays into Aliens, because, you know, I have Aliens versus Predator, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I can't honestly say that I've actually sat and watched an Aliens movie. I've seen the clips. I've seen the posters. I've seen the, you know, the movie lines and the memes and different things. But yeah, I'm not really my bag, to be honest. So my knowledge of
Nothing wrong with that.
sci-fi type of movies is probably my weak.
Mhm.
You know, like if I was going to be on a pop culture trivia team, my weakest point would be sci-fi stuff. I just, it's not related to Aragon. Pretty much don't give a shit. Aragon or Lord of the Rings, you know. Other than that, I pretty much really don't give a shit. So, you know, and I don't mean that to be snotty or an asshole, but just kind of
we all got our
interest.
we all got our things that are like, yep, not my jam, and there's nothing wrong with that.
You know, I'll take horror over sci-fi every time. So number 4 for me, and we're gonna go back in time, Back to the Future 2. I love. It's another series that's gotten better with each one. Great storytelling, great character development. You know, they tied it all together really well. So Back to the Future 2 is number 4 for me because, you know, just great music. I love the continuity of Huey Lewis from the first one to the second one with the theme song. So I thought that was cool because, you know, Huey's one of my favorites and so disgustingly underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I really like this one because it kind of just shows the consequences of like what they're doing, and it's like, hey, maybe we should like not do this anymore.
Right.
Like I love the alternate Hill Valley scene, and just like everything in the future was so cool. And like there's a reason why like Nike made those like limited edition, shoes that lace up on their own, and different things like that. So yeah, that's a great pick.
Okay, I can completely, that popped up and I didn't need to see that. I don't know what he's making, but I know what it looks like, and never mind. So number 3 on your list.
Number 3, we're gonna continue the sci-fi trek, and we'll just round it out with The Empire Strikes Back. I originally had this at number 1 on my list, but after really thinking about it, I love Star Wars just fine, but not as much as I love the other two. So yeah, Star Wars fans are just a toxic group, but I think Empire Strikes Back is like universally like renowned as like the best one because it's got that epic twist ending, and then not only that, it introduces a lot of great characters, and it kind of ends on a downer, which you don't expect from a lot of these movies. So yeah, the Empire Strikes Back, again, can't get any more basic than that.
Again, I've never seen a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
But, how do you grow up and not know all of the lines, all of the characters, of all the different things, Yoda speak and everything else, so I get it.
Yeah.
Eventually at some point, I probably will sit down and binge watch
all 9 of these monstrosities.
Like, what is there, like, there's like 47 of them now or something.
Yeah.
If you include The Mandalorian and Andor and all of the different things that they've done with it. So, number 3 for me, probably the only movie that this man has ever done that I will speak highly of, because I do not like him in any capacity. In fact, one of his movies is one of my most hated movies. Number 3 for me is The Dark Knight. I am not a Christian Bale fan in any capacity.
That's fair.
And American Psycho is a movie that I fucking detest with a burning passion. Speaking of, we're tying it all together with the Huey Lewis thing. There is something about American Psycho that just, it would, if you asked me the question, what movies would you ban from existence? That would be my immediate answer without any thought. American Psycho and God Bless the Child with Ambassador. Those are the 2 movies that, just immediately they gotta go. They're terrible. So, but Heath Ledger
is, what makes that movie. Yep.
Yeah, like he just went all out for that. Sadly, much like Brandon Lee, he kind of, lost himself in it. But it is a great movie. with everything going on in it. Is that the one that had Bane, or was that the next one?
That's the third one.
That's the third one. Okay. So Dark Knight is the one with Joker. Of course, it had Michael Jai White, as one of the characters. It had a lot of like really kind of cameos here and there. It was a really good movie. The way that it was filmed, Christopher Nolan, just did really great stuff with that. So it would probably be one of the few Christian Bale, probably the only Christian Bale movie. Well, other than maybe Reign of Fire. I liked Reign of Fire. Dark Knight is number 3 for me. So
I'm one of those weird people out there who really likes Batman Begins. So that's the only reason why The Dark Knight's not on my list, is because I like Batman Begins a lot. But what makes The Dark Knight so great is Heath Ledger, though. Heath Ledger is just going all out and just introduced a whole new facet of the Joker to so many people, because everyone just kind of glommed onto this Jack Nicholson persona of the Joker, and they thought this is the only way that you could do this. And Heath Ledger was like, no, there's other ways to do this too. Yeah. And yeah.
Number 2. What do you got at number 2?
The Godfather Part 2. Again, just like a basic bitch answer, but what do you want me to say? It's the fucking
Godfather 2 was a great movie. I mean,
it's the fucking Godfather. So
great.
So that's all I'm gonna say about it. Is the fucking Godfather. Like, what do you want me to say? So yeah, just great movie. Yeah,
a lot of moving parts in that one.
Yeah, for sure.
That it took to make that all come together. So we'll leave it at that. My number 2 was the one I made on the fly, because I was talking about an actor and it popped into my brain. Like, how did I miss this? I had Top Gun Maverick at number 2, but in speaking about Scott Adkins, I mentioned Iko Uwais, and there is not a more violent, over the top, completely fucking ridiculous action movie than The Raid 2.
Yeah,
that popped it. Oh, how did I forget this? So my number 2 is The Raid 2. The Raid was nuts. And in one of them crazy Hollywood things, the second Dredd movie.
Yeah.
Pretty
It's
much
just a ripoff of The Raid.
Here's the funny thing. Dredd actually came out before The Raid, but The Raid was being filmed before Dredd.
Yep.
So there's, the
that weird overlap.
Have said, there was really no interaction between them. How they ended up kind of being so similar without there being 2 separate crews on 2 separate continents. The Raid was an incredible movie. And when that movie ended, I thought, wow, this will be one that there probably won't be a sequel to, because it's just really, really over the top. And, and then The Raid 2 came, and it was just kind of like, holy shit. Gagarth just took shit to levels unseen, like just complete ultra violence, man. It was like, okay, dude, I have seen horror movies, slasher movies that were less violent than this movie. And he said for the longest time, there's never going to be a part 3. Now he has said he actually has a script for part 3. And I'm like, wow, what the hell are you going to do for part 3? Because part 2 was just utter insanity. So number 2 for me is The Raid 2. If you haven't seen The Raid and The Raid 2,
check them out, because they were John Wick before John Wick was
Yes.
John Wick. So
yes, if you like John Wick, The Raid is for you. Also, there was another one that he did called The Night Comes for Us, and that's another one that it has Joe Taslim, Iko, and Taslim is another one who does not get nearly enough credit for what he does, man. Like, Taslim is a badass. I'm so happy that they put him in the new Mortal Kombat movies. And I really hope with the next ones they crank his shit up.
I'm very I'm almost maybe too optimistic about the next Mortal Kombat movie, because we're getting a tournament and Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. That's not quite the casting I thought that they were going to pick, but I'm still happy with it because I love Carl Urban.
I'm just glad they didn't go with The Miz, because there were rumors they were going to have The Miz play Johnny, and I was like, okay, I like The Miz for his ability to talk, but he's not like a legitimate fighter per se,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, we'll do it at that. So we're up to our number ones, and I think it's pretty obvious what my number one is now, probably. But your number one, what is your number one? What is your big boy? What is the grand poobah, so to speak?
Speaking of Carl Urban, I have The Two Towers as my number one because The Two Towers is my favorite movie of all time. It is kind of weird because I think a lot of people are like, you like the middle one better than the first one that introduces everything and is pretty epic. And the concluding one, which is pretty epic. Like, yeah, there's two reasons why I love this movie. And the first one is I will never forget seeing the Battle of Helm's Deep in theaters for the first time and was thinking to myself, holy shit, this is the power of what cinema can do. Like this, like I've never seen anything like that. And then in the next one, they took it up a notch. But to me, watching the Battle of Helm's Deep is a movie core memory for me. And then the next thing is that Sam's speech at the end gets me every single time. I got a part of it tattooed on my shoulder because I love it that much. So the Two Towers for me, yeah, just great stuff. So again, another basic bitch answer, but
no,
what can I say?
I love how he filmed The Lord of the Rings, and it's the correct way to do it. If you're gonna make these movies, you have to do it according to a timeline. So if you're doing Harry Potter, they did Harry Potter correctly and having the time between it, because there is time between the school years and they're going to grow and they're going to age. Lord of the Rings is a continuous work. So they don't necessarily age the same way as you would between the years, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So filming all of them back to back to back at once and then releasing them separately was both a brilliant move on Peter Jackson's part, but also a monumental task of filming 3 movies at once. Like, holy shit, like talking about logistics.
Well, and filming something that a lot of people thought was unfilmable as well, because there's the animated ones, which they have their charm to them. They're ridiculous, but they have a special place in my heart, even though they're not very good. But yeah, that's a tall task for any group of people to have to bring something like Middle Earth to life. So yeah, just the second one to me just amps everything up, and it's still to this day my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. Like I said, I like that. I like what to do with The Hobbit. I'm excited to see, what they do with Golem. I'm excited to see. I actually didn't hate what Amazon did with the series. I haven't seen season 2, but I did watch season 1.
Season 2, there's a couple moments in season 2 where it's like, holy shit, this is the power of what they can do with this.
Yeah. So my number one, we talked about it earlier. The very first thing that popped into my mind of movie sequels that surpassed was Clerks 2.
I cannot fucking believe this. Like I thought here I am on this goddamn island, and you and me on this island by ourselves. Well, I'm sure there's probably lots of other people out there, but for the sake of this list, I'm not gonna lie. This was not on my this was not even remote dream that this would be an overlap movie.
I liked Clerks. Clerks 2 to me just amped everything up. The battle between Randy and the Elias,
yeah,
was so legendary with their back and forth of Star Trek versus Star Wars, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. And then you have, Jay just being Jay, and Rosario Dawson is so nice to look at. she's a great actress, but she really is a beautiful, beautiful woman. You know, the mouth jokes. But what really put it over the top, the donkey show part, Jay's commentary, you know, between Elias's shock and Jay's like complete over exuberance of being at a donkey show. Just, there's very few movies that I have laughed to that extent.
Yeah.
Van Wilder is one, Waiting is one. Ryan Reynolds has a lot of moments of movies that I've laughed hysterically at. Justin Long as well. But Clerks 2 was just, it's such a Kevin Smith type movie. And considering everything that was going on with Jason at the time,
yeah,
the fact that he managed to get that made and kept Jason upright enough to finish that movie. Again, logistics, man. I admire Kevin for everything. And then, of course, you know, Clerks 3 come along, and fuck you, Kevin Smith.
Oh, that.
You know, you went from making me laugh to just fucking
destroying emotionally.
And I was like, oh, you bitch.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was completely unprepared, and I didn't see it coming. Like, I honestly, it's Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Like, I just, you know, he's known for doing goofy endings. When that happened, I was like, oh, you motherfucker, you completely flipped the script, dude. Like, just like fucking out of nowhere. And I was like, I cried so hard with Clerks 3.
Yeah, I was not expecting what happened at the end of Clerks 3 as well. And to me, it resonated with me so much because it just kind of shows just how much of an effect that particular event had on him and had on Kevin Smith. So like it was very touching. It was a very personal.
I mean,
movie.
It was logical. I get it. Like, it made sense, but it was just one of them things that was just like, God damn it! Like, I
come to these movies to laugh. God damn it! So
like, especially Kevin Smith. Like, I go to Kevin Smith movies to laugh, you know, and that was the one that just was like, oh, you motherfucker, you dirty bit, you know, like the Dick Tracy movie. Oh, you dirty bitch, you know. So that's my number one is Clerks 2, because I love Clerks 2, and I couldn't think of anything better. I wanted it to be Still Waiting, but that movie just does not hold up to the first one.
No.
As much as I wanted it to, it just doesn't. It's still funny. It still has its moments, but just doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
And sadly, Van Wilder, The Rise of Taj, also does not live up to the original. And I really wanted both of those ones to, you know, live up to it. They just don't. And there's a couple that I wish would have had sequels. I think the sequels could have been even better. One is Son-in-Law with Felicia Roy. I think that had the potential to be something really awesome. And the other one is, I can't even think of it, not Empire Records. It's the one with Jack Black and John Cusack.
Oh, High Fidelity.
High Fidelity. High Fidelity was another one that I thought had potential to be, you know, like I thought they could have done a sequel and focus it less on like his love life and more on like the actual record store type thing, and with goofy characters, maybe have like a Cheech and Chong tie-in or something or another. But, you know, that is our top 10 movie sequels that surpassed the original. Before we go, as we didn't do it in the last one, tell everyone, where do they find the network, all of the shows?
My bad.
You know, because we're sitting here talking about a network and we're not actually telling them where the network is.
Yeah, so you could find us on all major social media platforms at Crew. So that's just SPDM, the letters Crew. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, LinkedIn for all you random people out there. We're still on X, and we're on Blue Sky as well. So check those out there. check out our website at crew.com. And if you have any questions, if you're interested in being on a podcast, if you've got any questions or have any ideas, you could email us at spdmcrew@gmail.com.
Yes, and if you want to be a part of this one, if you want to do a top 10 list of your own, I have a big old list of ideas.
Big ass list.
But the big ass list of loud is, as it's randomly known. It was the big ass list of everything, but we named it the big ass list of loud. But we're also free to create your own. Like I said, books, movies, pop culture, cooking, top 10 Christmas gifts that suck or that are off, the worst Christmas or the worst Halloween candies, pretty much anything. Top 10 best memes, top 10 worst memes, you know, we can take this in 1,000 different directions, man. But the main goal is just to fucking have fun with it. So with that said, this is Mr. Mike Hilty, SPDM Network. This is the Loud List. You can contact me at riotonthesetmedia@gmail.com. That is RIOTONTHESET@gmail.com. And with that, be well. Treat each other with kindness. Remember that music heals.